It's Marcia Davies, and during NBA's annual convention back in October, I had the honor of sitting down with Academy Award-winning actress Goldie Hawn, where she discussed her career, motherhood, and her courageous journey battling anxiety. Our conversation was nearly an hour long, and I have the pleasure of sharing a snippet of that conversation with all of you here. I also would like to share the entire interview with you and would love to hear what inspired you about my conversation with Goldie. Please post your comments in our community, and to see the full interview, click the link below. Any advice on how to identify anxiety? Because if I'm remembering correctly, you weren't sure what was happening at first, and then you realized it was anxiety. And how to manage situations when anxiety may start coming on.
Mm-hmm. Well, oddly enough, it didn't really come on with me like that. My anxiety started when I had a panic attack. I never had one of those. I had issues around the atom bomb when I was littler, and I was scared we were going to die and all that. And I would feel scared if I'd hear a sound, and I wouldn't go to school, you know, if the air raid siren went on, because I thought we were all going to die from the atom bomb. But this was different. This happened to me because I was thrown out of the chorus into an acting job, and I had just come to LA, and I had just been promised dancing in all the shows on television, and I was so excited. And I identified with my dancing, and I got great joy out of dance. For me, dancing, I used to say, was like moving molecules and dancing with molecules in the air. I mean, it's just amazing, guys. So when you're in shape and you're a dancer, and I started dancing at 3 years old, I never knew anything different. I worked hard. I mean, you know, to do triple pirouettes, to do glissades, to jump, to do all the things we needed to do, building strength. It was amazing. So, but when literally a guy said to me, do you have an agent, while I was doing an Andy Griffith special? And I was dancing with 12 girls, and I went, no. And he said, well, here, take my card because I'm servicing the show, and I'd like to meet you. And I went, oh, sure. You know, being in New York City and having a few issues with men promising things. In goes, and I love you guys, don't get me wrong. Anyway, so I put the card in, it was at 5, 6, 7, 8, and I started dancing, and I forgot about it. He called up, they found me at my house after the show was over, blah, 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 and I drove to William Morris, and like, you're not here. And I went, oh, I didn't know he meant that, you know. So I go there, I'm sitting in front of agents, and the next thing I know, they signed me to William Morris, and I was a dancer. They didn't know what to do with me, but this one agent said, I have a feeling about her. And so I'm sitting back and forth this way. And then I went up, I said, well, she's too young for this audition you want to send her on. And he said, I know, I just want them to meet her. So the next week, I sign, get on this agency, and the next week I go to an audition, and it was for like Desilu Studios, and I don't know, it was Tversky and Danoff, and Carl Reiner was involved, I don't know. Anyway, I did the audition, I come back home, I get a call from my new agent, and he said, you got the part. And I said, wait a minute, I'm too young for that part. And he said, no, they wrote a part in for you. Well, I guess everybody should be really excited about that, but I wasn't, because felt like I was being taken away from something I knew, something I wanted, and also a life plan, which I did have. And that was, I was gonna go maybe do commercials, go to Hollywood for a while, do that, come home, get married, open a dancing school, have children, be normal. As my father said, you're not normal. So I think he had it right. But in terms of that feeling of fear and sadness, that I started feeling anxious. Now, what can happen with anxiety is that you can start getting heart palpitations and not know why. So you're not always cognizant of what's going on in your conscious mind. So the idea is that when you're feeling those things, then you start getting scared, and then your system starts to go onto overload. And then your brain starts to go onto overload, and now you are having an experience that you have no control over because you have no knowledge. I went to a doctor immediately. That's solution-based thinking. I do not want to live this way. I want to find out what's going on with me. I want to know why. And without going into too much detail, I spent 9 years with this doctor. Not because I was sick, but because I wanted to be well. And after learning more about my psyche, learning more about myself, learning more about my relationships to my parents, learning about a lot of things, that I was able then to handle my success. Because I never thought of myself as a movie star. I never thought of myself as somebody that was going to do that. I thought everybody was so screwed up in Hollywood. I just wanted to be like a normal person. But there I was. And I'm not sad about it, but when you go and you do self-discovery about why do you feel this way? What's going on with you? Why are you scared to go out? Why when I walk into a restaurant do I feel sick to my stomach? What's going on with me? We have the right to find out. And we should find out. Because I learned so much valuable stuff that took me through a lifetime of success, but also a lifetime of truth and normalcy. And with that, I say, anyone who has these feelings, you're no different than everybody else. The only thing that you have to do is take charge of yourself. So when people come up and say, I love you, you can feel that. If people come up and say, and get mad and hate you and all this, you can feel for them. And that's the way we do it. So we can hold on to our happiness.